It is difficult to be patient, but to waste the rewards of patience is worse. If you expect the blessings of God, be kind to His people. Without knowledge, action is useless, and knowledge without action is futile. He who avoids complaint invites happiness. A man who is shy and modest is an amazing character, but a woman who is shy and modest is beyond amazing. It is a matter of shame that in the morning the birds should be awake earlier than you. He who prays 5 times a day is in the protection of God, and he who is protected by God cannot be harmed by anyone. The greatest truth is honesty, and the greatest falsehood is dishonesty. Good actions are a guard against the blows of adversity. If an ignorant person is attracted by the things of the world, that is bad. But if a learned person is thus attracted, it is worse. Every day, nay, every moment, try to do some good deed. Do not look down upon any Muslim, for even the most inferior believer is great in the eyes of God. When knowledge is limited, it leads to folly. When knowledge exceeds a certain limit, it leads to exploitation. Use the same measure for selling that you use for purchasing. He who fears to weep should learn to be kind to those who weep. Death is the easiest of all things after it, and the hardest of all things before it. The more knowledge you have, the greater will be your fear of Allah. If you want to control other people, first control yourself. Our abode in this world is transitory. Our life therein is but a loan. Our breaths are numbered, and our indolence is manifest. Follow the way of life which the Holy Prophet has shown you, for verily that is the right path. Be good to others, that will protect you against evil. Cursed is the man who dies, but the evil done by him survives. It is bad for a young man to sin, but it is worse for an old man to sin. You should not quarrel with your neighbor, for he will remain where he is, but your high-handedness will become the talk of the people. To fight against the infidels is jihad, but to fight against your evil self is greater jihad. There is greatness in the fear of God, contentment in faith of God, and honor in humility. The true believer is rewarded in everything, even in affliction. When you advise any person, you should be guided by the fear of God. Knowledge is the life of the mind. He who is not impressed by sound advice lacks faith. Do not follow vain desires, for verily, he who prospers is preserved from lust, greed, and anger. Piety is the most solid goodness, and the vilest of what is evil is vice. He who comes to take the love of God can have no taste for the love of the world. He who indulges in falsehood will find the paths of paradise shut to him. As there is no darkness in the moonlight, so is Mustafa Muhammad, the well-wisher, bright. Allah will help him who moves in the way of Allah. He who builds a masjid in the way of Allah, God will build a house for him in the paradise. The people who abandon jihad fall a victim to humility and degradation. He who becomes a Muslim does so in his own interest. Jihad is obligatory for the Muslims. Muslims should live like brothers. In the matter of justice, all should be equal in your eyes. Solitude is better than the society of evil persons. Do not get elated at any victory, for all such victory is subject to the will of God. Have an earnestness for death, and you will have life. Youth is not restored by the dyeing of your hair. If anybody seeks your advice, offer right and sincere advice.